I have an 8-year-old granddaughter. Under no circumstances would I send her to one of the concept schools, because having been there, I know that, there's minimal teacher preparation for new teachers. There's minimal teacher development. And again, you have 15 to 20% of the teachers who are not qualified to be teaching.
Okay. Are there any other general statements that you'd like to make about charter schools? And in particular, the one that you taught at?
Yes, and the one that I taught at concept schools, I know of a myriad of illegal activities that are currently being investigated by 5 different federal agencies. I think it would be more than prudent for parents to investigate those schools before they enroll them. In particular, they were forcing my husband, who is Turkish and an ex-member of the Gulen movement, they were forcing him to give back 40% of his salary back in cash to the Turkish business manager. That's just one of the many illegal activities that they're involved in. They're involved in immigration fraud, money laundering, extortion, and again, these are serious issues that any parent should be aware of.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
If I could ask you a couple questions. Community schools or charter schools are, the very name community school indicates to people that it is a school that's associated with the community. Mm-hmm. Now, what is, in your experience, what association with the community did the administration, the board of this school have with the community? What sort of interaction and what sort of community involvement is there? Yeah,
their community involvement, as far as that goes, is usually they ask the teachers to visit the children's homes maybe once or twice a year. They do like to have politicians come around. The politicians seem to be quite pleased with concept schools, because many of these politicians are getting subsidized trips to Turkey and campaign contributions. As far as that, I really don't know any other community involvement.
But it's would you characterize this as a community-run school or as an outsider-run school? Or
no, this is not a community-driven school. This is definitely a money-making enterprise for this group. As a matter of fact, I was at an awards dinner with the Dean of Academics again, and he looked at me and he smiled and he said, "Would you send your kids to one of these schools?" I wouldn't. And he was the Dean of Academics of the school. So no, they're laughing at us all the way to the bank. They're here. This is a money-making operation for these guys. They predominantly seek out schools in very lower socioeconomic areas where they know that parents are stressed just to find a way to feed their children and clothe their children, so there's minimal of any parental involvement, and they bank on that. That's how they get away with having all these boards that are school boards that are all Turkish foreign nationals, because in any of, like in Lancaster, for instance, I had one of the parents in Lancaster came up to me and he said to me, because you know what, we may be struggling economically, but we're a community here and we're very involved. But the problem is, a lot of these communities they go into, there isn't that involvement, and they really rely on that.
What do you think the ultimate motivation of this Mr. Gulen or whoever he is, what do you think the ultimate motivation is for that movement to be here in America, operating in 29 or 30 states, including Ohio, of course? Well, what's the ultimate motivation? I mean, why are they here? Is it that Americans don't know how to run schools? Is it Americans aren't equipped to operate schools? We're not smart enough to operate schools? What is the ultimate motivation for those foreign nationals being here in America, teaching the children of the people of America?
Well, Fethullah Gulen's movement has several goals. The agenda. one of the agendas is, of course, to bring in as many of their own people as they can over here as possible. And they do that through the Immigration Services H-1B visas, which, by the way, the American taxpayers are paying for each one of these H-1B visas. Not only are we paying for it, we're paying them 40% higher than the American counterparts because we have to pay them the prevailing wage. So they have that aspect of the scam going. Through the H-1B visa process, they get them green cards where they have permanent residency, which, you know, we also pay for. We pay for them to get graduate degrees, so we're educating them on our tax dollars. So that's that aspect. They're also getting a tremendous amount of money back and kickback money from their own people. They're extorting money and having them pay it back in cash. That money's getting funneled back to Fethullah Gulen and his organization. The other aspect of his plan is to get as many American politicians in his pocket. And American politicians are easily bought in this country. Give them a free trip to Turkey, give them a couple decorator plates from Turkey, and put some money in their pockets for campaign contributions. And it's amazing what American politicians will do for these guys. The third aspect of the plan is to promote his Islamic agenda as subversively as he can. He wants to do it in a manner, it's very stealth-like. He has told his people, his cult members, and I do call them a cult, that they are to spread the word, but to do it as quietly as possible. Fethullah Gulen is an extraordinarily dangerous man. He fled Turkey because it was pending arrest. The United States gave him refuge here. Now he's operating out of this, out of our country. And he is being investigated. This organization is being investigated by 5 different federal agencies. So I don't know how long, and again, American politicians went to his defense to get him his green card and his permanent residency here. So those are some of his agendas to my knowledge.
Okay, do you have anything else? Very good.
Don't know.